Hi everyone, how's it going? I haven't made a video for a while, so I thought it was time I made one again. Hurrah! You can see I'm brimming with enthusiasm here. Right, what would I like to talk about today? Well, this weekend I caught the new Fantastic Four movie, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Now, I wasn't a big fan of the first film. I thought it had many flaws, you know. I think they wasted the opportunity in the first film. Doctor Doom, let's be honest here, was lame in the first film. Mr. Fantastic, you know, I didn't want to go to cinema and see Mr. Fantastic use his abilities to stretch to get a toilet roll. I'm sure there was a scene like that in the first film, and that to me was pretty much scraping the barrel, as it were. So, to be honest, I had pretty low expectations going into this one. I'd read extremely bad reviews for the film, you know, moaning about Galactus. This is a spoiler, by the way, so if you don't want to spoil it, turn the video off now. Galactus being a cloud, the Silver Surfer not having enough screen time, Doctor Doom being lame again, all of these things, and really bad childish humour. So I sort of went in with the frame of mind that, you know, this is probably going to be suck, and I'm only really going to see this because I'm a fan of comic books, and I think it's my duty to go and see this thing. To be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, by no means is it a brilliant film. It really isn't. It's not one I'd probably watch again and again and again. But in its benefit, unlike some other summer blockbusters we've seen this year, it's not really up its own arse, so to speak. You know, there's films like Pirates of the Caribbean 3, which are like 3 hours long, and to some extent Spider-Man 3 and things like this, and these films have such an amount of hype about them, and they're so epic in the sense that they can sort of get lost in their own vastness. You know, I didn't have any hope for it really, so it was kind of cool to be able to go in and watch the film and throughout the entire running time be entertained at least. I mean, by no means, as I say, was it a classic, but it did entertain me. It did what it said on the tin, and it was only a snappy hour and a half. Good points about the film. I liked the portrayal of the Silver Surfer. You know, admittedly he's not in the film much, but what we did see of him, they treated the character with respect, and I thought he was performed really well by the guy who did the body work, Doug Jones, and Lawrence Fishburne did a good job on the voice, even if his voice only appears in the film for a matter of minutes. I also thought that the main people playing the Fantastic Four had improved a bit. Chris Evans as the Human Torch was one of the few redeeming features about the first film, and again I thought he was quite funny in this film. I can't remember how you pronounce his name, Ewan Grufford or whatever his name is, the Welsh guy who played Mr. Fantastic. He sort of improved a little bit. Jessica Alba, despite having an extremely bad wig, was still quite a alluring Invisible Woman. And Michael Chiklis as the Thing. Is it just me, or does he have something in his contract where he has to appear human every single time in every single film for a certain amount of time? You know, I read on the internet someone said the other day, the Thing seems to have turned human more times in these films than he's turned into comics in the last 40 years. So that's one little minor drawback, I guess. But you know, there's quite a lot of nice little jokes in there, and there's a couple of jokes that aimed at the adults that will go over the kids' heads. So that was nice to see. And the action was pretty well orchestrated as well. I would say that one of the main problems I had with the film was it was very sort of internal. You know, you saw everything from the Fantastic Four's point of view most of the time. You didn't really get a sense that there was this world-threatening, catastrophic disaster in the works going on throughout the film. And it would have been nice to see some more of the general public's reaction to that. But again, I could see if they had done that, people would then be complaining, oh, well, they didn't spend enough time on looking at the Fantastic Four. So I guess you can't really win in that respect. As for the ending that seems to have been getting a lot of stick on the internet about Galactus, I have to admit, I didn't think it was that bad. Okay, in the comics, Galactus is a gigantic guy with a sort of purple helmet, and he looks like a gigantic god. But do you think that would translate well to film? I'm not so sure, you know. I mean, a silver guy on a surfboard, I can just about take, you know, at face value, but I don't know whether I could take a gigantic 60s looking giant trying to devour the Earth. I don't know if that would have worked. So I think they actually made a pretty good attempt at trying to make a thing that represented Galactus without actually having to show a character that looked quite maybe as silly as it would in real life, rather than in a comic strip where it looks appropriate but in real life it looks silly. And plus, you did see a shadow on a planet at one stage of what looked like a figure of Galactus as this thing was moving towards the Earth. So who knows? In a sequel, he might come back. Who knows? I mean, he was destroyed. He seemed to be destroyed, but they can always bring characters back, can't they? So yeah, I mean, I would go and see it if you would like to go and see it at the cinema. I think it's worth it. I mean, it's not going to be the classic. It wouldn't be the film I'd recommend to see. If you only see one film in summer, I wouldn't recommend you see that. But if you're tempted to go and watch it, I'd say watch it and just ignore the negative reviews, and you might kind of like it. And I'm sure your kids will like it as well. And it only lasts an hour and a half, so there's not too many scenes where you think, oh, this is sort of dragging on, and you know, they should have cut this bit out, and it's just filler material, blah blah. Right, so that's Fantastic Four reviewed.